Look at that. So we're going to start with taping this off. I have quite the extensive palette today. I've pulled quite a lot of colors because I'm starting into Christmas stuff, which seems really early. I actually started last month though, because my first Christmas market is beginning of November. So what is this? This is 4 inches. Yeah, all right. So let's divide this block into 4-inch increments, which would be, what size of block is this? What size of block are we? 10 by 15. So we're gonna go this way. We're gonna work down. So I'm going to start at the very top and divide this page down into increments. I think that's the smartest way to do it. So let's get into this. I do love doing these tiny tree paintings. There's just something about them. They're always fun. They work well on holiday cards. I do need to see what size I use for card fronts, I guess, because those are a different size. So, I guess I'm committing that this one is all gift tag size. So, let's grab a pencil and the ruler. It's 4 inches. It's 4 inches. That's 4 inches. That's 4 inches. And then these ones at the bottom will just be small. I'll probably turn them into price tags, just because that works best. I am in Canada, and so this is my prep for holiday markets, because my first holiday market of the year is November 2nd. I wish it was December 2nd. That would give me significantly more time, but nope, I have about 20 days until my first holiday market. So I am working away. So let's tape this off, because what we are going to do is these. So these then get cut down and punched out into gift tags, and it works super well. It's super fun. I like doing this size as gift tags, and then the backs are blank, so people can write messages on them. They work really well for like stocking stuffers, and if people are doing like cookie bags for neighbors, we used a lot of those last year. So I'm hoping that I'll get a bunch done, because every page does. Seriously? Ah. Well, that's the first time I've ever had to block someone. Well, honestly, dude, I survived stage 4 cancer as a teenager. I could care less about what you think. But am I taping these the right way? I'm not. No, I am. I am. No, I'm not. This is the way they get taped. because the top part gets masked off. So I'm just going to move that other piece. And just like that, I have a bunch of lines for trees. So we're gonna fold this under and we're gonna start. I have a massive palette set up for this. Normally I have a quite compact palette, but there is a perk of working with paint shops, which is when I wanna do something fun like this, like tiny trees that really work well with a whole bunch of colors, I have a billion and one colors to choose from, and these look really fun with a whole bunch of granulating colors. So we are going to pop in pretty much every fun color I can think of into this piece and just have a great time. So let's start at the top actually and work our way down so that I don't smudge this whole page. I have my water. I have my clean water cup and my brushes. Here's the flat brush. Here's the flat brush. So it starts with wetting the paper just enough so that the pigment sort of moves when you put it on the page. Let's choose something fun that I haven't used yet in Tiny Trees this year, because I have just pulled a whole bunch of new colors for this project. What I love is how the pigment moves and spreads. Let's grab a blue. And they're not accurate pine trees. The goal is never to have accurate pine trees. They're just like fun. They're fun, they sort of move, they've got some color to them, and they look really good on Christmas cards, which honestly is the point. So let's grab the next color, which is going to be, let's go yellow. This one's going to be very primary, which I never do. It's hard to find a granulating yellow. This one is the closest I've got to an actual yellow. I'd say it's much more brown than yellow, but it is very pretty, especially when you use it for like coastal cliffs or in a sunset, which is where I tend to use it. What's next? Let's grab a green. Let's grab this green from Roman Small for a little tree. Might leave these ones non-shimmery. I do a mix of sparkly ones and non-sparkly ones. All of the first set I did were sparkly. I'm sort of feeling non-sparkly for this set. We'll see if I still feel that way at the end. This page needs to be wet again. Let's grab this turquoise. I love how pigment moves in water, especially on paper like this. It's just so much fun to watch pigment move. Let's throw this from Courtney. I've done an entire video on this paint because it is such a unique paint. She managed to create a light blue paint that granulates to purple, and it's just so much fun. I use it a lot in ocean pieces because it just works well if you want to make water really moody. Dude, I don't even know how paper can be gay. Like, honestly, choose a new hobby. Find a new hobby. Have you tried crochet? I really like these like darker moody ones. I normally keep it a pretty light color palette, or if I'm doing dark ones, I like throw in some light ones. There's something about this dark moody palette. You finally made it, Marina. Honestly, I don't know. Apparently, my hands look homosexual as well. So if you want to dissect that, have at it. You know, we're having a great time. But I'm, finally, I realized that I've waited, how like many weeks ago I was saying I, only had 6 weeks to do Christmas content before the Christmas Bazaar. I then promptly got distracted by projects you and I have been working on together, and I now have 20 days to do Christmas content before I have to have product available, and I currently have no product available to sell. So we're live streaming making product for the shop because right now I have very few gift tags. Currently I've just done gift tags into strips, like they're not even cut yet. But we're doing more trees. But I think, honestly, I think I'm gonna leave these ones non-shimmery. I'm sort of vibing with the muted colors. There's just something about them that's working today. So the goal is to fill this 10 by 15 block with trees. We'll see if that happens. It's a very large, it's the largest block I could buy on Amazon and get delivered to me. So we're painting trees with my massive super granulating palette that I have pulled from my studio palette. Not all of the super granulating colors. I have not pulled any of the Schminke super granulating colors. Everything I've pulled is non-Schminke. So let's choose the next color. I don't know where to go next. Let's go what I think is Violet Mist, but could be any number of things. No, this is the Meeden / Bauhong, because they're made by the same people, pad. Which I quite like. I like their cold press paper. I don't love their hot press, but I quite like their cold press. And I was able to get it in, they had this size in stock. They do have a bigger one. It wasn't in stock. So I went with this, which was the biggest pad they had in stock. And if I'm really productive, I will finish all 20 sheets of this with Christmas content. Well, Meeden does the little pre-cut sheets. And you know how I feel about little pre-cut sheets where I don't actually have to cut anything. So I tend to use this. I've been using this for Paint Your Styles for a bit, but I wanted a big block, and Fabriano is not on Amazon in Canada. So Michael's is far. So instead I went with something that I knew I liked, and it didn't have to be, because these are being cut into gift tags and card fronts, like it didn't have to be really nice paper. It just had to be nice enough paper for me to do pieces on. And so I find the Meeden Bauhong paper is good enough for that. Like I don't need Arch for, I've used Arch for Christmas cards. Last year I did. But that's an expensive endeavor that you don't need to do. So instead, I'm this year using quite inexpensive paper to hopefully sort of speed up my mass production of Christmas cards. But I love using super granulating colors for this because you get these really fun blends and sort of pigment separation. So we're gonna keep at it with super granulating colors. And I will do, these are all tall ones, but small, because they're gift tag fronts. I am going to do, I need to figure out the measurements for card fronts. I think they're 2.5 inches tall. But I will probably do some of those once this sheet is dried enough I can take it off. Thoughts on Arch? I agree about rough being meh. I don't love it. I think I love it more because my local paper person, that's what we'll call Tim, my local paper person, my local art supply dealer that's not a big store, will cut down anything for me. And so I can get sheets cut. I don't have to buy it and cut it down myself, which is not something that I'm capable of doing. My hands shake too much to do it. So I just don't buy sheets unless I can have them cut down by somebody else. Luckily, my local store will. I like their cold press. I don't like their hot press very much. There are other hot press papers I like more. I like the Fabriano hot press more. I really like this Legion Stonehenge hot press. It's hard to find these days. So I'm sort of working my way through my paper stash. I've got lots of part blocks and packs of paper. So didn't paint all that much in the spring. If you know, you know. And so I've sort of got this stash of paper that now I'm working my way through. Yes, Legion is the best. It's hard to find though. Both in full sheets and mini pads though. Jackson did just send me, and just being like a month ago, and I've already done a video on it. Jackson's did just send me paper, which also makes me feel like a real artist now that like I got PR from Jackson's. That is such an ego boost, which was fantastic. And I've really liked it because they're the perfect size for card fronts. So I guess I should see what the measurements on those mini Legion pads are, because they're the right height and width for card fronts. I don't have to cut them down at all. And so really that's the size that I need to tape this page out to if I'm doing card fronts. So once I'm done this, I will see what those measurements are. So I can find it. It's like weird when I can find it. I can't find them super often. I found them, I think the last time I could really find them easily was like end of last year, I want to say. And then I could find the cream sheets, but I don't like cream watercolor paper. I think you'll have an easier time because you're in the States, and Legion, I think they're headquartered in the States still. But I have everything imported, and so we're like sort of stuck on occasion, depending on like, because US art stores get first dibs. So currently I have not been able to get Legion sheets in a while, but I did, and I need to do a video on it because people keep asking for it, and I do finally have one. The funny thing is, I ordered it in March, and it arrived. It arrived the day I left for Atlas for the sidewalk sale. The Daniel Smith complete dot set. I have it. It's on my desk. Maybe it'll be Saturday's video. It probably won't be. It does really bug me still that there are no pigment numbers on this set. But I do finally have the complete Daniel Smith dot card. After months and months and months of people asking if it was going to be part of the dot card collection, I have it. And I'm so excited. See, I never tried their paper, so I have no grief over the fact that they closed down because I never tried their paper. It's like old Tomore River paper. Like I never tried it. I know how I feel about new Tomoe River paper. And so I have no feelings about the Canadian paper company. Like, it's sad that we lost a Canadian business, but I wasn't attached to their paper. And so to my painting, it made no difference because I wasn't attached to it. I have screwed up this tree by getting distracted, and we're gonna hope that it's on the edge of a card and I can just like cut it in half, which is often how I save trees that are like a little bit wonky. Yeah, it's like the same way I feel about new Tomoe River versus old. Like, I didn't try the old stuff, so like I have no grief over it, other than the fact like it was sad that they changed formula, and I'm sad friends are sad. With the paper company, it's like I'm sad that a Canadian business closed, but I was not attached to their paper, and so other than the fact that they were Canadian, it doesn't matter. I have 2 sketchbooks. I think Beam still has it in stock. Like, if you do really like it, I think Beam still stocks it. So you can get your hands on it still. But all right, I want to know who the other maker is, because really I just can't think of any Canadian paper companies. I mainly use Legion and Baohong, but Baohong and Meiden are both Chinese and both made by the same company. And Legion, I think they're owned by an American company still. But other than that, like, it's just, I don't know, I'm not really, I want to say I'm not picky about my paper, and then I go, but I don't really like arch paper, and I don't like Hannen-Mule paper, and I don't like, the list of papers that I don't like is fairly long. So maybe I am pickier about paper than I think I am. If I suddenly become picky about paper, I know I'm picky about fountain pen paper. I don't like Tomoe River paper, but I'll write on copy paper, which really bugs people. Oh, some of these are already dry. There is something fun about just working out of a super granulating palette where you know everything is going to be really colorful and fun and expressive. And I love that. Both as like, just like having fun. There's a reason I call my 31 Purple Fish my fun palette. Though shockingly, none of these colors are 31 Purple Fish. I feel like I've been using them a lot in content lately, like they've been appearing a lot, and I wanted to give some love to other stuff. So all of these are non-31 Purple Fish colors. They're Cosmic, they're, who's in here? Cosmic Nibs, White Knights, who else is in here? Roman Small, Cos Paints, there's some Daniel Smith. I think that might be it. Because I wanted to pull fun that wasn't Schminke or anything else. And that means so I have Mont Blanc. I have one of the Mont Blanc postcards, as you know, the 100th anniversary ones, and then I've got some of the Mont Blanc special edition writing paper, but I don't know who made it, and I did not purchase it. The manager at our local store gave it to me, so, and I haven't tried it yet because it's really heavy weight and I'm a little bit intimidated by it, so I haven't actually used it, which is funny to say. Like, I'm such a like use the nice paper person. Like, I doodled on arch paper, and yet I have not written on any of the Mont Blanc postcards or used the Mont Blanc paper. So at some point, I'm going to need to be big and brave and just use the Mont Blanc paper, because it feels really nice, just from like feeling the back of it. So at some point I'll need to actually try it. This is heavy. This is like 600 GSM watercolor paper. Like, it's like it's heavy. It's probably not quite 600 GSM. It's over 400, just by the feel of it. And so I think it has to be like, and it's stupid to be intimidated by it. And yet I have not used a single piece of it. And I need to at some point, because it's stupid to hoard paper because also I'm fairly sure if I asked quite nicely, they'd give me some more. Oh, it's watercolor friendly. Well, I was pretty sure based on feeling it was probably watercolor friendly, but thank you for confirming, Marina. Much appreciated. I feel like these two trees side by side are giving like very mermaidy vibes. Like we went from being like very muted to like suddenly being like very mermaidy all of a sudden. And I'm not angry at it. It's just, it's fun. So when I did the first set of these, my palette was in no order. And today I've like sort of grouped it by color because I found it really hard to work from a palette with no order. So we'll see. We'll see if it makes it easier in the long run to have things grouped again. It's not in the swatch book order. Like it's not in its actual order. It's just in like the roughly, these look like they belong together order. But like it does like, this part is very muted. And here it's like very mermaid all of a sudden. And I'm not angry at it. It can do its thing. It can be all mermaidy and happy. Shall I throw another very mermaidy tree in, or should we go back to muted? I don't know. What do I want to grab? Let's grab this. This is a brand new Cosmic Creations color, which I think is out. The nice thing is because these are getting cut into 2-inch sections, I don't really have to worry about repeating colors too much as long as things aren't like directly side by side. I can just like sort of put stuff wherever I want to. And I'm going with it. So let's wet this last section right to the end because we're going to work fast. I'm going to just keep going. So we have done that. Let's throw in Sangria again, which I used at the very beginning, just because it's sort of like this really dark reddy purple, and I think it'll help to bridge everything. I feel like we need a bridging color. All right, I think we've got space for like 3 more trees, and then we're on to row 2 of 4. These pages are huge. Let's go here. It's very dark blue. So close to being done this row. Black grape. Do I want black grape in there, or do I want something? I think I want this. It's always interesting to like figure out what colors to pull for a video like this, because really trees like this can be so many different colors, and especially when you're doing something like Christmas gift tags, I try to keep the colors granulating, because they make far more interesting final products than just like plain matte colors. So the goal is always that the color has dimension, not that the color is sort of the initial color that a tree would be. So last year, I don't think I did any green trees on cards, but they were all, you know, fun colors. So if the color had any amount of granulation, it got put in my list of colors. Whereas this year, I'd be a bit more selective, because I have so many granulating colors that I just like want the really fun ones, but also the ones that maybe I don't use as often, because, you know, I just don't reach for them as often when I'm doing content on Instagram. For no particular reason, like honestly, there's no reason not to reach for my Daniel Smith colors these days, but I find myself reaching for other things. When it comes to videos at times, and so I think it's fun to reach for Daniel Smith in this. Because especially for a lot of people, like Daniel Smith is a brand that they can actually get their hands on if they want to. Though I don't know that Undersea Green's still around. There was a rumor that they were discontinuing it, which is why I have a 15 ml tube of it. So let's throw in my last two trees, which are going to be eeny, meeny, miny, mo. What are you? You are Ocean Blue by Roman Small. You're a very pretty color. You're very pretty. I think every time I use this color, I go, you're not really blue. You're very green. You're very aqua. I don't know, it doesn't scream blue to me. But I find that with a lot of colors, that their names aren't really what I think of when I think of that color's name. Need to pick up a new detail brush. But there's something that you can't really buy online when they've got almost no bristles to them to start with. Like, you need to buy them in person where you can make sure that nothing's bent or broken, and it has as many bristles as it needs to have. But like mine's got a little curve to it right now, which is not good. It's making it all the harder to paint these little tree details. One more on the end. We're going to throw in another gray. But it's a very blue gray to start with, and we're going to make it more blue by mixing it with a couple different colors. So really it's not the color it started as. It's something custom, which I do like doing, especially on something like this, where it's just like the goal is to have something move We've ended up with sort of a black that's not really a black. It's sort of a very dark blue that's got some pink and some purple and some green to it, which is honestly sort of perfect. All right, there we go. There's the first row of trees done. Now onto row 2. Honestly, I forget how long this takes until I'm into painting them. And then I go, they never end. They never end. Oh, I did really narrow water on the first one that I did little trees on. So we're gonna do, does that have a nice point? No. Does that have a nice point? Yes. That is the downside, is that you have to find a brush. I can now zoom you in. You have to find a brush that has a nice point. And that's always hard. So I've got a brush now with a nice point, and we are going to start green this time. You are a saint, Marina. I would not have the patience for what you just did. And you know it. All right. One of the bigger trees down. I did some slightly bigger ones over here as well. They just, depending on like the size of gift tag you're doing, and they're all going to be this 4.5-inch size, or 4-inch size that gets cut down to 3. I think once it's punched, it's just over 3 and 7. I'm gonna say it's 3 7/8, something like that. Like it's a good size of gift tag. The size that I quite like for my gift tags. It's the same size I did last year. This size seems to work quite well. This round brush, on the other hand, is not working well. I don't know what happened to my other round brush that had a nice tip. I think it probably got accidentally shimmered and I didn't care enough to clean it, which is unfortunate because now I have no round brush. But here we are. All right. Oh, the page is dry. Yeah, I never tried St. Armand paper. So I'm interested to see what this other paper brand is. Because St. Armand is the only one I know about in Canada, or that was made in Canada. But I think Beam still has St. Armand in stock. The thing is, like, I could try it through Beam. My fear is that I'd actually like it, and then I like a paper that's been discontinued. So in that sense, it's easier for me just not to try it. Because if I don't try it, I never find out if I like it or not. And then I never, you know, deal with the fact that I might like a paper I just can't get again. Because I'm sure at some point a brand is going to discontinue a paper that I know I like and I'm currently using. But for now, I've been safe from that. I might fill in these little empty spaces with smaller trees. So the Canson Mixed Media Imagine, I love, I adore. You could only get it on Jackson's in the UK. It wasn't available in Canada. It wasn't available in the US. And when Jackson's moved to having a US site and a Canada site, meant that I can no longer order it because I was ordering it from the UK and now they ship their Canadian orders from the US. And so I can no longer get this paper that I really like. And I think I've got maybe 8 or 9 sheets of it left. I'm so sad because it's such a fun paper for lettering on and being really artsy in that way. And you just can't get it in Canada. And I loved being able to use it. But c'est la vie. I think the smaller trees just work better. I don't know that I love these ones as much. They're just not, there's just something about them that I'm not feeling tonight. I am custom mixing the colors for all of these ones though. I did start with a base of that green, and then everything since that green I've just like added a color or two to into the same pan. So it all started from the green, which has resulted in quite an interesting color I have to say. I'm enjoying that part of it, that it's just like sort of a fun science experiment, which is one of the best parts about watercolor, is, you know, being a mad scientist all the time. All right. I actually really like that purple. So this one, that is a mixture of green mist from White Nights, Roman Small Shadow Violet, and Daniel Smith Rose of Ultramarine. We're having a moment, Marina, and I'm just being a mad scientist with my mixing for no reason other than the fact that I have once again reminded myself that, you know, it's my palette and I can do whatever I want because I, you know, can do whatever I want. Which is really funny that, like, on occasion I have to remind myself that it's my watercolor palette. There are so many things that include a green pigment when I'm looking at, like, mixing for things, especially when I was doing the White Nights, when I recreated the entire White Nights granulating set. So many of those colors include a green pigment that I would not have expected to include a green pigment. Like, it was such a fun set to recreate, but it was also an insane set to recreate because I didn't actually have the set. All I had was the pigment list and a photo of the colors. And I had so much fun. But there were so many of those colors that included a green pigment. It was phthalo green. It was in so many of their colors, which meant that I, you know, used phthalo green because I never use phthalo green. I only own a pan for mixing videos. There are a few colors like that, though, that I only own pans of because of mixing videos. I don't know that I like these big trees. We're going to go back to tiny trees for the next little bit once we're done this row. These ones are going to become sparkly once I've cut them apart. What am I going to mix into this blue? I'm going to add Ruby Mist. Most of my White Nights is dead stock. The only new White Nights I have is the granulating set, which somebody sent to me. And it was sent to me after I recreated the set. The funny thing is I've got a comparison video comparing, you know, my swatches of recreating that set to the actual set. Because I did, like, I recreated the entire set on a video, and I've got a video where I compared, like, the actual set to what I created. And, you know, yeah. I don't like the Rosa paints, I'm gonna be honest. I've pulled some for this because they do have some fun granulating colors. Their cobalt colors are fun. and they're black, black grape, black green, and their gray colors are fun. So magenta gray. I find them really sticky. I don't know if it's just, you know, where I am in the world. I also find their pigment numbers inaccurate. What was listed on my on the chart in the store, what they've got listed on their website, was not what my pan is labeled as. And I've never found somebody else that has the same pigment number for the color I have as what was listed on my pan. I have not tried either of those. Most of my paints are whatever Michaels has in the clearance section. Or whatever small shops or brands send to me. I think the brand I've actually bought the most of at full price is Roman Small. And it's because at the time they were quite reasonable. I'd say they're less reasonable now. They cost significantly more right now. Yeah, it's the pigment labeling and the fact that they're really sticky. I have a really hard time getting them out of some of my brushes. So I don't use them with any of my synthetic swirl brushes. It's just not worth the hassle. I don't like this row of trees at all. We're going back to the tiny brush. I was hoping that I would like them with the big brush. I used to do them with a flat brush. I'm out of practice doing them with a flat brush. And this brush just doesn't hold a nice enough tip to do them this way. I do like this green though. So once again, we're going to leave this green on the palette because this is going to become a tree color for the next little bit. I feel so out of practice mixing colors, and so doing something like this is just fun, where I'm just like having a chance to play with mixing color. All right, and we move the palette so that I can scooch this. Oh, wrong brush. Well, the brush I want to be using, but currently the wrong brush for this. All right, we're going to pull in this yellow. I feel like it's the right time to pull in this yellowy brown. The funny thing is I'm mixing convenience colors. Like I'm mixing super granulating convenience colors to just make like slightly more interesting mixes. Like this is a mix, this is a mix, this is a mix, this is a mix. That's a single color. That's a convenience color. Like it's just, I'm just, like it's not real mixing. Everything I've pulled for this video and the next couple videos, like they're all super granulating colors. They're not what the real watercolor people like. They're, you know, they're the fun things that I like to use. Which honestly, that's why I paint. I paint so that I can use the fun stuff I like to use. But here we are on whatever day of the week it is today, a Thursday in October, and I'm painting Christmas content. And if I'm going to be painting stuff for Christmas, I'm going to do it with the stuff that makes me happy. And make some really weird mixes. That's really pretty, but that's not what I want. What can I add to you to make you what I want? But you know me. I'm a big proponent of convenience colors. Like I've got hundreds of convenience colors. I'm looking at a palette that's mostly pinks. No one needs a palette that's mostly pinks. No one needs as many pinks as I have, but it's just like, it's fun, it's silly, it's enjoying the paints that you've got the ability to use. And I am lucky enough to have it. But like on occasion, Laura and I do color formulation, and in that case, like I need to be on the ball with my brain thinking mixes, because I enjoy when we do some of the crazy fun mixed palettes, like, what was it? What was the last one we did? Oh, all the grays, so Pebble and like all of those fun grays that came out last year. Pebble and Little Bat, like all of those colors. Well, that's fun. I don't know what I mixed for that, but that's fun. I like that this palette started out as I want somewhere to make sure that I've got like the right consistency of paint for the little brush, and has instead become I'm making some really weird mixes. And I'm just like going with it. Oh, that's really fun. It's got like the blue and the purple, but it's also got the brown undertones of the color next to it. Well, that was a happy little accident. I feel like I need one of those like that was easy buttons, but with the Bob Ross happy little trees, because it really feels like all I paint these days are happy little trees. All right. I don't know what's next color-wise. I honestly have no idea what color to grab. I'm gonna grab a red. I think that's more pink than I wanted. I saw the Frankenstein in person, and it's actually really cool. I saw that, I think it's, might have been the Tom Sawyer. It comes in a treasure chest. If you want to see really expensive though, go and look at Goldspot. Goldspot currently has, I think it is it, I think it's over $22,000. It's pretty. Is it $22,000 pretty? I don't know, but it is pretty. And I have looked at it. Because I wonder what the most expensive pen they sell is compared to the cheapest pen they sell is. The cheapest pen they sell is $5 on Goldspot. I think it was the Tom Sawyer. I like that one better than the Montegrappa Frankenstein. But yeah, no, there's some very expensive pens out there. If you have that sort of money to spend on a pen. Yeah, if you've got that money to spend on a pen, use my affiliate code. And I will greatly appreciate it. Yeah. If you're spending $22,000 on a pen, find somebody's affiliate code to shop through. They will love you. Actually, even if you're spending $200 on a pen, find an affiliate code, because again, that person will love you. We're almost done this row, and then we're going back to tiny trees, because honestly, it's harder to do them big. I don't like doing them big. I'm out of practice doing them big, which is a bad sign, because I'm going to have to do them big for all those card fronts. Yes. So if you're buying a $22,000 pen, use my Goldspot affiliate, and then go buy out Marina's shop. And then we'll both be happy. Or get in touch about sponsoring a season of Desk Chatter. Or sponsor a video on either of our channels. I don't know that he sponsors creators, though he did send Fig Boot had product from him, though I don't know if it came directly from him or from a shop to Fig Boot. So I do know who you're talking about. You are an awful influence. I like the one that's got sand dollars on it. And it's not on the website in lilac, but I saw it in lilac in Chicago. And it's very pretty. It's so far out of my price range, but it's very pretty. Oh, we enabled somebody yesterday into getting more ink. Good for us. Good for us. All right, next row. We're going back to little trees because I like them more. They're more me. Honestly, they're more fun to do. But we're going back to little trees with a tiny bit of water, like I did here. So we're going to teeny tiny. So I've just gotten water on this page. The goal being that we're just like getting it a little bit wet. All right, well, let's start. We're going to start with all of the different fun mixes that I've got going on over here. On this little palette. I might have to do a like telethon-esque stream so that I can buy new paintbrushes, because I think this paintbrush is on its last legs, which is very sad. It's lived a good life, but still, it's very sad because they're not cheap to replace, and as any artist knows, once your paintbrush like really starts to die, there's nothing you can really do to save it. So my next stream might be all about streaming painting trees until I have funded enough to buy my new paintbrush, because they're not cheap. And I need at least one new one, but probably two. tomorrow's stream will be brought to you by my desire to be able to afford to buy new paintbrushes, because I need more paintbrushes, or I need a new paintbrush. This one is very clearly dying, and they're expensive, so I love working with super granulating colors when you can like pick out certain colors. So the blue is really separated out of the mixture for this color. And so I am just like picking up only the blue now. Which is fun. It's sort of like a very cotton candy tree. All of a sudden, after all these dark ones, it's one cotton candy colored tree. All right. Now we're going to go in with just the blue that was the base for this. All right. That Daniel Smith color moved. So, oh, it's not Daniel Smith actually. That is Blue Raspberry from Cosmic Creations. The Daniel Smith colors next to it. This was, I believe, developed with Amber Lane Art. Which is the fun part about Laura's creative team currently, is that there's a lot of collaboration with the various artists on the team, especially with sort of colors we like. And Amber is a big fan of like the sunsetty granulating colors, where I'm a really big fan of like granulating colors that punch you in the face with the fact they're granulating. Amber is much more a fan of like more subtle granulating colors that also like really granulate. So I think this was one of Amber's picks for the year. Might be wrong there though. I know enough to know it was not something I formulated or helped formulate. And it moves quite a lot. So let's do some more lines. There's just something so much nicer about the mini size. Honestly, they don't take that much longer to do. I was gonna say they take a lot longer. They don't actually. I'm just like, I do them all the time, and so I'm better at doing them. And I think that's the difference, is that I do the mini size all the time. So I'm always doing them for tiny trees. So my brain is already used to doing them little. So it's weird to have to size them up for cards. But hopefully once I've done enough of them little, I can just like size them up with no issue. I think I just like need to get it in my head muscle memory wise. I had green on my finger. I think there's going to be a whole bunch of seconds gift tags. So ones that aren't perfect, ones that include little smudges, because there are a couple in this batch and in the first batch I did that either have little smudges on the front or on the back. And so I can't sell them as perfect gift tags, but it also doesn't make sense to throw them out. So I think I'm just going to have a whole bunch of seconds, and I might just sell them as like huge lots of like 15. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how many I have by the time we get to the event. We just did a giveaway, and I I desperately need to have product to sell so I can afford to buy new paintbrushes. That's where I'm at in life. I am, making product to sell so that I can afford to buy new paintbrushes. Not because I like necessarily doing. The socially anxious person in me does not like to do holiday markets. Like, I don't want to. But I need new paintbrushes. So, to get new paintbrushes means during a holiday market. And so I will do product for a holiday market. Yeah, for me, it's just like the quantity of people and product very quickly. Like, I don't enjoy mass producing product to this scale. It's not something I enjoy doing. I can do it clearly, just sort of by like day 2 of doing tiny trees. At this rate, I just sort of get bored. And there's nothing wrong with tiny trees. They're one of my favorite designs I do. I genuinely really enjoy them. I just get tired of doing little trees over and over and over again. But I need new paintbrushes, and to be able to afford new paintbrushes means vending a holiday market. And to vend a holiday market, I need product. And the product that does really well are the tiny tree cards. So here we are painting tiny tree cards. And these, I was late to the game with gift tags last year. I didn't sell gift tags to anyone that weren't family members last year. So this will be my first year of vending gift tags as a product to the general public. I think I want to say I sold close to like 75 to 100 to family members last year in various designs, from like quite simple to very complicated. I am planning on doing some of the more complex designs, but like they take more time, and so I'm sort of doing all the easier ones first and saving the more complicated ones for last, knowing that the more complicated ones sell for more, but they also take up just more time to create. And so if I don't get to them, it wouldn't be great, but at least I've done sort of the easier stuff to do and get out product-wise. So we'll see where we're at with these in a couple days. I'm hoping, this is a block of 20 sheets. I'm hoping to do, sounds really ambitious, I'm hoping to do 10 pages of trees in gift tag size, which sounds like a lot. But then I'm thinking about like how many cards those get cut down into, and like it doesn't seem like as much. We'll see. I might have to order a second block. But then like I'm also doing other designs too. It's just trees sell the best, but are one of the more time consuming designs. And yet are less time consuming than the reindeer, which have to be painted. Every card has to be traced out or cut ahead of time and painted individually. I love the reindeer ones. They're a nightmare to paint because nobody makes a block that's 3 inches by 2.5 inches. And so I just have to tape them out, tape the back out on every single one I paint. and it takes hours to do them, but they look really good. And I tried to speed up the production of them this year, and it didn't work. It was like a 20% success rate, and that wasn't worth the effort that I put into them, where I couldn't even sell them as seconds. So I will be going back to doing them individually, but it does make it a very annoying process to do them individually. And now I'm sitting here wondering if I can do them as card fronts, but I think I still run into the same issue if I do them as card fronts. Like they're just not easy to do that design, and I just need to figure out a better process for doing them. And so maybe while I sit here and paint trees for hours and hours and hours, I will come up with a better way of doing that design. Because it does, of all my designs, it's probably one of my favorites. Like I have a soft spot for tiny trees. Tiny trees started last year at Christmas, has become a Instagram series where I look at a single color every day. But there's just something about those reindeer gift tags that I adore. They're just so hard to do. But I'm now wondering if I can do them as cards, because they look really fun as cards. I would just need to figure out how to do them. Something to think on while I paint a billion little trees. You know you've been painting too long when you have to wet everything again because stuff has dried while you've been painting. Let's go back here. I love this color. This is from Cause Paints. It's called Viola. I've done an entire video on the paint. It is a light blue that granulates dark purple. It is the most unique super granulating color I own, and I adore it. Or it's the most unique light blue super granulating color I own. Lots of them just like sort of stay the same. Viola has so much personality. I love it. I don't know if Courtney currently has it in stock, because I have not looked at her shop in ages. But it is such a fun color. All right. There. What's next? Let's pop in Sangria. There is something lovely about the Sangria color. Again, not a color from Cosmic that I had a hand in developing. More than going, I think you need a dark, granulating pinky red. I didn't have anything to do with the pigments that were chosen. Laura did all that. But I adore it. Like, as pinky red granulating colors go, it is so dark. It is so pretty. I think it's absolutely perfect. It sort of screams fall to me. It's just fluff. It's going, how did I get a line of red on the paper? After Sangria, I don't know that we've done Scarlet Hematite yet. Which is another like red, brown, sort of orangey fall color. I don't think we've done it yet. There we go. Almost done this row. And then we've just got one left on this sheet. And then we do it a billion more times. I'm doing all these gift tags. I don't know if I switched to doing card fronts because cards tend to be my biggest seller. And I almost think it makes more sense to just switch to doing cards. They tend to sell quite well. I tend to sell quite a lot of them. They sell at a slightly higher price point than gift tags. So maybe I do this set and then I switch to cards. And hopefully I've got a card from last year kicking around so I know what size the trees were. But I don't think I do. Want something dark and moody. I think I can probably stick a green at the end of it. I think we're far enough away from the orange that I can stick a green in. This lovely moody green. Sort of quite olivey. Let's pick a blue. Let's pick a blue, let's pick a blue, let's pick a blue. You're called Cobalt. Mist. I don't think you contain cobalt, and I don't know that you're quite as blue as I want, but I think you're as close to a true blue as I have pulled. So we're going to choose you anyways. An awkward tree. We're gonna let it be. I think if I touch it too much, I'm going to make it more awkward. We're gonna go for a very black green at the very end. Mostly because what I want to put in is a black, which I also don't have pulled. because if I had a black pulled, it would be too tempting just to use a black. So what I've got is black grape, or black green. I guess I could have put black grape in there too. Would have worked. Very dark, blacky purple. I just needed something moody. Something moody, something moody, something moody. There. All right. Last row. All in frame. There's our palette. I've got a brush. I think once this is done, I'm going to switch to card fronts because those sell for more. And I think that makes more sense financially to be doing card fronts because I can sell cards for more. Gift tags are fun, but I think the simpler gift tag designs probably make more sense because they're less time consuming. Whereas this design is a fun gift tag design. But I've spent over 2 hours on this single page. It doesn't make sense financially to do that many. We're also going to see just how many of these I can do because I normally do the entirety of tiny trees, all of those trees in not a very long time. This is far more time consuming than tiny trees. I think I'm focusing more on colors than I do. Like I'm just a bit more obsessive about colors in this than I am in tiny trees. So what I need to do is I need to take a breath and realize that it really doesn't matter. And what I need to do is get paint on the page. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get paint on the page. We're going to paint these tiny trees. And then we're just going to move on to bigger but still little trees. That's what we do around here. And I've just screwed up this tree right at the top. And so it gets to be a little bit bigger. Good enough. All right. Let's do the next however many until I have to wet this page again. Like that. That's a fun green. Aww. Because these are all getting cut apart in very small sections, I can put colors wherever I want within reason. What I really should have done was put a mark on the page at the max height of what I wanted. Oh, that one's a really nice tree. Oh, all right. I feel a bit better after that one. Right. Let's put ruby in. It's not a true red, but I think it's what I feel like putting in there. I'm so close to being done this. And then I just have a bazillion more to do. But they get to be slightly bigger. I might try, I did last year's all with a flat brush, and I'm out of practice doing them with the flat brush. I might try again just to see if I can figure it out. It is definitely easier to do them with a flat brush. Like it's less time consuming to do them with a flat brush is the better way to put it. It's not easier right now, but if I can figure out how to do it with the flat brush again, it's much faster than doing it with this 000, especially because this 000 is dying and I need a new one. And it's going to be several weeks before I can get a new one. So I'd like to be able to preserve this for as long as possible, just so that I can use it for these like little trees versus larger ones. So I think we're going to try doing the slightly bigger ones with a flat. It might not work. I might be so out of practice doing it that it just doesn't work. But there's no reason I can't try. Because honestly, sometimes it works. I thought I knew what color this was. This was not what I thought I pulled. I thought I pulled a very dark blue. I would describe this as a very dark purple in this pan. That did not go in the right spot. That went in the blues, and it should have gone with the purples, which were a row down. Whatever. Still very pretty. Let's go magenta gray. I don't know that we've used this today. It is one of my favorite Rosa Gallery colors, though. It's got so much personality. I love using it for tiny trees, just because it's got so much personality. what's next? The idea of that. Sort of like a moody, bluey purple. But little. I want something short. I don't know that I'm going to get short. I like how I'm talking like I'm not the one painting. But with the hand trimmer, you sometimes get sometimes branches are a little bit longer than what you want. And then you just sort of embrace making the tree slightly taller. In this case, though, it's short, it's stubby, it's cute. It's really cute. Let's pop in. We haven't used this yet today, or at all in Tiny Trees so far this round. This is Nibs Rain. It's part of her Summer Storms collection. This collection is like going on 3 years, I want to say, since she started it. It started as like a one-time release thing, I believe, and has since become like one of her most popular collections, which honestly is totally fair. I love every color that's part of it. I have the full set. I waited for a very long time for the full set to come back in stock, and everything was never in stock at the same time. And so I ended up DMing her on Instagram, and she put together a special order for me where she held on to the ones that were in stock until all the colors were made. And they're so pretty. I love her paints. I can't think of what her first name is off the top of my head, though. She makes glitter paints as well. I don't have any of her metallics or her shimmers, but I love her mattes. Her moody mattes are stunning. Shall we throw another Nibs color next to it? Oh, we've already done one over here. This is a Nibs. This is a Nibs up here. As we could. I want something. I don't know what color I want. What color do I want? Do I want to stay moody? There, we'll go with another Nibs. We'll stay moody and we'll keep with Nibs. And this is the 4th color in the collection, which is Sun. So it has thunder, lightning, rain, and sun in it. And Sun is actually the color that made me realize how fun brown watercolors could be. I sort of overlooked them. They were sort of always boring to me. And then I got this paint and realized how fun and unique and interesting brown watercolors could be. Like, they didn't have to be the same. I sort of felt like all the brown watercolors I was getting were always the same. And then this paint from Nibs changed that because it's got so much depth to it, especially when you do just a wash of it. It's got yellow, it's got brown, like just such a fun color. We've got space for 3, maybe 4. The last one's little trees. Let's 2 trees left and then we're done. One tree left. And hopefully over the weekend I will generate enough in streaming to afford to buy a new round brush. Because this one's almost dead. The bristles are curved over and falling out. And so I definitely need to buy a new paintbrush. Because it shouldn't be blopping like that. It should just have like nice little sharp lines. And its days of sharp lines are coming to an end. I'm just going to stick. Thank you very much. So I realized I started Christmas Bazaar content and then I like sort of abandoned it for a little bit, and now I've realized that I've got like 20 days until the Christmas Bazaar and I have not nearly enough product done. I've got almost nothing done. So these are all going to become gift tags, but I've realized that while I've been doing this, that really gift tags overall don't actually make me all that much money. What makes me by far more money is cards, and I sell significantly more of them. And so when I stream later on this weekend, or potentially later tonight, I'm going to be doing card fronts instead, which just, they take up about the same amount of space, but cards sell for significantly more than gift tags, because gift tags I sell in packs. I don't sell them individually. So I'm going to put one more tree on the end. I don't know what color I want. Just pick up a tiny bit of sangria. And so I'm going to do simpler gift tags that sell for the same amount of money but take less time to do, versus these ones that are incredibly time consuming. Like these ones have taken me over 2 hours to do this page, and this page won't become all that many, unfortunately. It will become 5, 10, 15. It'll become 15 plus 2, maybe 3 card fronts. And I just, like, that's hard to justify the amount of time I've put in for how much they sell for. So instead, we will be doing products that sell for more, like cards. So I am happy though that I sort of had this warm up of doing a full page of these in just granulating colors. It's sort of a good mental warm up, and they look really good. Like, genuinely, I love how they look. There's no way to mass produce them, and so I can't make the math work on them. Or I can make the math work on them, just not on a week like this where I'm trying to really get product out. So I will be doing them, but I will be doing them not this week. So I will be switching to card fronts and simpler gift tags. And then if I have time at the end, in the week of the 26th, I'll come back to this. So I'm going to leave this here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out if you hung out for a little bit. As with last year, if I have extras, they will show up on Instagram. but that'll be into November. I don't normally sell on Instagram, but I do sell, much like last year. Last year I sold, if there was an original that you'd seen that you liked, you could DM me the post or the video, and if I still had it, I would put it up. I would let you buy it if you wanted it. And I sold the extras of cards last year. Same deal this year. If there's an original you want, let me know. If I have extras, they'll go up to Instagram. So we're still a couple weeks out from that, but for now, I've just done another 15 gift tags plus some extras. So progress.